video, we're going to discuss how to solve two-step equations that have division, so two-step equations with division. This is still part of Unit 4, so we're coloring blue. All right, solving equations requires us to use inverse operations, your mission when solving equations is still to isolate the variable. Division two-step equations are kind of tricky because there are two different types. There are one-story problems and there are two-story problems. So we're going to start by talking about how to solve one-story problems. In a one-story problem, it's all one level, like a one-story house. So we have a 2 plus x over 2 equals -3. So everything is on one line all the way across. All right, so step 1 is to identify the variable. So in this particular example, the variable is going to be x. And the constant, so if I look at this side of the equation, the constant, remember, is the number that's not attached to a variable, so the constant will be 2. Determine which side of the equation you will need to focus on. So this is the side of the equation that contains the variable. So if I take a look at this, I can see that the left-hand side of the equation is where the variable is, so we'll need to focus on the left. Okay, first determine what number you will need to make enough zero pairs to remove the constant, or 2. And then you complete the first step. So I'm going to copy the problem, 2 plus x divided by 3 equals -3. Okay. So the number that I'm trying to get rid of is the constant on the same side as the variable. So I'm trying to get rid of the 2. Remember, the variable stinks. It's really stinky, and we want to get these numbers away from the stinky variable. So here's 2. Okay, that's the constant. That's the first number I need to get rid of. So how do I obliterate? How do I get rid of? How do I destroy a positive 2? I do that with a -2. So I'm going to subtract 2 on this side, and I'm going to subtract 2 on this side. These two variables are gone, they're destroyed, they're history, and I look at what I have left. Okay, so step 3, what I have left is x over 3 is equal to -3 divided by 2, which is -5. Okay, step 3, then determine how to solve the one-step equation and then complete that second step. So a resulting one-step equation is x over 3 is equal to -5. With my eyes here, I see division. That means I need to use multiplication. So if I'm dividing by 3, I'll need to multiply both sides by 3. Those two will cancel, and I have x is equal to -5 times 3 is -15. That's how you solve a one-story problem. Two-story problems are a little bit different. So if I take a look at my two-story problem here, I have 2 levels, like a 2-story house. So here, p plus 2 is in the first level, divided by 8, which is like the downstairs. So the p plus 2 is upstairs and the 8 is downstairs. So I have 2 levels going on here. Okay. Step 1, identify the variable. So in this particular equation, the variable is p. And identify the constant. There are several of them. Okay, so really when you're looking at a two-story problem, the most important part is to identify that variable and then determine which side of the equation we'll need to focus on. So if variables on the left, we're going to need to focus on the left side of the equation. Okay, step 2. Remember, the division bar is like a grouping symbol. So the p and the 2 in the numerator are grouped together. So we must multiply on both sides first. These two cannot be separated until the 8 in the downstairs is gone. So I have p plus 2 over 8 is equal to 1. Okay, so I have an 8 in the denominator, and these two, again, they're grouped together. It might help if you put parentheses around them. And we're undoing order of operations, so here we're going to need to multiply by 8 first. All right, so I'm left with p plus 2 is equal to 1 times 8 is 8. Step 3, determine how to solve the one-step equation. So I have p plus 2 equals 8 as my one-step equation, and then we're going to complete that step. I see with my eyes, I see addition. And in order to solve, I'm going to use subtraction. So p plus 2 equals 8. I need to subtract 2. These two guys cancel out. And I'm left with p is equal to 6. All right, let's take a look at some additional examples on the next page. First, before we start solving any of these, let's go through and decide if they're one-step problems or one-story problems or two-story problems. So if I take a look at this, okay, notice the 1 is in a straight line with the division problem. There's only one level here. I have 1 plus n divided by 3. So this one is a one-story problem. Everything is on the same line. Okay, the next one right here, 7 plus x over 8. Again, everything is on that same line. The 7 is in line with the division bar. Nothing is grouped in the numerator. There's only one variable, one term in the numerators. This one's also a one-story problem. Okay. Right here, 1 and p are both upstairs. They're both above that division bar. So that's going to be a two-story problem. And same thing with the last one, the negative 10 and the x are both in the numerator. That's also going to be a two-story problem. All right, so let's go back and actually solve these. So if I take a look here, okay, first I need to identify my variable, it's n, and then I need to get rid of the constant. So what number will get rid of a positive 1? It's going to be a negative 1. Okay. These two guys are going to cancel out. They're going away. They're gone. And I look at what I have left. I have negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5 is equal to n over 3. I see division, so I'm going to use multiplication to solve. So I'm going to multiply by 3, multiply by 3. Negative 5 times 3 gives me negative 15, and negative 15 is equal to n. All right. Next example, it's a one-story problem, so I need to get rid of the constant first. What number is going to help me get rid of a positive 7? This would be a minus 7 or a negative 7. And then I look at what I have left. 9 minus 7 is 2. These two guys are gone, they're canceled, and I have x over negative 8. I see division, so I'm going to use multiplication. I'm going to multiply by a negative 8, because that's what I divided by. And 2 times negative 8 is negative 16, and negative 16 is equal to x. Okay, zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look at those two. Those are both one-story problems. All right, next example. It's a two-story problem. So remember, the 1 and the p are grouped together. So in order to undo this, I have to get rid of the division first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 to undo the division. These two guys cancel. I have negative 1 times 4 is negative 4 equals 1 plus p. I have a 1 here. How do I get rid of that 1? It's a positive 1, so I'm going to need a negative 1 to get rid of it. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5, and I'm left with just p, so my answer is negative 5 is equal to p. All right, last example, again another two-story problem. So I have two terms up here in the numerator, so I have to get rid of the division first. So I'm dividing by negative 9, so I have to multiply by negative 9 in order to redo that. These two guys are going to cancel. 3 times negative 9 is negative 27, and that's equal to negative 10 plus x. I see a negative 10 right here. So how do I get rid of a negative 10? How do I cancel that out? I need a positive 10, so a plus 10 and a plus 10. And then negative 27 plus 10 is negative 17. These two guys are gone, so negative 17 is equal to x.